Hello, everyone. How are you doing? So to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry I was a couple minutes late. As you know, I had told many of you that I was at a little neighborhood event so I could meet my new neighbors and had a wonderful time. Please give me a 1 if you can hear me. We are going to be talking about Sebastian today. Thank you, Whispering. All talking about our earlier unplugged. That was a lot of fun. So welcome in. Today, our topic is banned, failed, and silenced. Sebastian Rogers. So there are some updates we absolutely need to get to. First, I want to thank my mods. You're fabulous. You always are. Thank you for being here. I see Gypsy. I see Whispering Winds. I appreciate you. Jenny Machete. Thank you so much. Everyone else who's here, thank you very much. And I appreciate you. And we are Sebastian's Army, and there are some updates today. And the FBI, my friends, has posted one of them. One since I left. I don't know if there's more, but I know of at least one. So we also have an update from At Night saying agencies will be possible, couple of other entities may be joining in to help out and unite with At Night. So we are going to go ahead and get to and I'm sorry I'm later than I ever have been. Hey, Minnie, later than I've ever been. Thank you, Minnie, for being here to mod. Hi, Floyd Kendall. Hello, Beverly. For those of you who were in our Unplugged, we had a fabulous Unplugged earlier, learning about the lingo of children, teenagers, when they're texting, what it means, when they're online in group chats, if you see certain acronyms and initials and code looking like secret code of what they're saying, we went over what a lot of those mean and learned. So when we see kids doing that, our signals will go up, our ears will go up. Hey, Frank, it is getting much, much better. Thank you so much for asking about my wrist. Thank you. So the reason I put banned, that he was banned, is because at the Pig Fest, we are not allowed to be passing out flyers of Sebastian. Okay. And that was very upsetting to many of us. And that's why I said banned. I don't know another place that wouldn't want to raise awareness for one of their own that's not there. And so I would just very, very much so hope that we are able to pass out flyers. I will be there. I hope if you're local, you can be there, or if you're traveling, you can come in, whatever you decide. You posted the flyer on the Pig Fest Facebook page. Good job, Whispering. Good job. We need to raise awareness for children. And when it's in their area, please hit that thumbs up. A lot of people probably do not know I'm live. This is a little bit later than normal. We really need to raise awareness for them. And in most communities, like where Monkey Michael Vaughn, bless his heart, and his mother, by the way, say a prayer for Brandy. She had her liver transplant. She's recovering. We'll wait for more updates on that, but praise God that she did get her liver. The last update I saw, she was not it. Her body was accepting it. So you love later than normal, Jenny? Good. A lot of you have been saying that, and I didn't realize that. So we are going to get to it today, because like Fruitland, when they have they involve monkeys. Like they'll have a booth for Monkey. They'll have flyers up for Monkey. You'll see a lot of blue for Monkey. Doesn't matter what the event is for. Okay. Doesn't matter what the event is for. It just matters that if one of yours is missing and can't be at that event and hasn't been home, and you have that many people coming to an area, you want to raise awareness. So it really shook me. It might be one of their bigger events in Hendersonville. I'm not quite sure, but to not want to use that time to raise awareness. Now, the story is you're an insomniac, Minnie. That's why you and I watch so much TV at night. We are going to be wearing shirts, Cindy Hodges. Absolutely. We are going to be wearing shirts. Oh, Minnie says, match me favorite teachers. Let's go. Thank you, Minnie, for that sweet donation and to start you guys are so cute in the chat. And Whispering Winds, thank you so much for that super sticker. You all are very, very cute. Oak Ridge Boys should put up a missing poster in their background. Yes, that would be wonderful. The school, they did say you could pass them out at certain schools, but the schools that were listed are not right near the event. So this is a huge event for Hendersonville. It's a 3-day event, and it's just a travesty. Now, when they were reached out to Gilly, the Park and Recs director, who is also like the owner of the Pig Fest, they asked another channel, Lowly, had one of her subscribers had reached out and asked if we could have like an awareness tent or something for Sebastian. And I know she was told that he would have to ask the Proudfoots and the B-Sox, allegedly. And then she said with the P-Foots. Then she got an email response saying they wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be having flyers passed out, but that they could go to local schools to pass them out. I'm not sure what traffic would be at local schools that are further from the event. It makes no sense. And I'm not sure, and I'm going to say it from my heart, why in God's name a mother wouldn't want her son's flyers passed out at one of the biggest events in the community. But allegedly, I'm going to say, in my opinion, because he said he went to lunch with them and was going to talk to them, and then get the kicker. He was going to ask the P-Foots and then needed to ask the Dirty Socks. Okay. And then the answer came back no. And that's that. And it's disappointing. He's banned from an event from his own community. We're raising awareness. Imagine with the Oak Ridge Boys there and all the people coming from all around. And if you recall, around the 1 year mark, I think KP did her last interview, or maybe, I don't know, but she said not everyone knows about Sebastian. She's shocked how many people don't know. Well, guess what? When you have a 3-day event where thousands are coming in and you're upset, allegedly, on that interview, you bring it up that not a lot of people know about Sebastian, then what is your motive for not passing out flyers? And why in the world wasn't it her idea to pass out flyers? Think about that. If I'm a mom and I've got a missing child and there's an event, I'm calling immediately and saying, what can we do for my child? We're passing out flyers. We want something up there, anything. Hi again, YouTubers here. Good to see you. Hey, Panda Bear's mom. Happy birthday to Panda Bear's mom. Thank you for the super sticker, my friend. Panda is also advocating for Devlin, and we appreciate that you're doing that as well, Panda Bear's mom. Hello, Holly S. We've got some mods coming in. Hey, Kiki, I'm running late too, Kiki. I was running late too. So banned, that's what I meant by banned. I just can't understand it. I can't understand why. And I would love to hear the reasoning behind it. It's not like we were asking to sell things. It's not that they had already were being sold. It's not like we were asking to do anything other than help a child whose family is from Hendersonville. Well, a piece of her family's from his family's from Hendersonville. His dad's from Clarksville. And I'm shocked that they themselves didn't plan something for Sebastian there, like Fruitland does for Michael Vaughn. And areas of community people in other areas who walk around and volunteer to search. And, communities get involved. This community, in my opinion, has been silenced. Oh, Tracy, happy birthday to you. Jenny, please email me. I'd love your GoFundMe so I can share. And if you emailed me in the last 24 hours, sorry, I haven't gotten it yet. So happy birthday to all the September birthdays who are here. So let's talk about silenced. I talk about silenced because he's being silenced. We can't share we can't raise awareness for him. There are not posts going out about him on a regular basis from the TBI Public Information Officer. And when you have an Amber Alert child like Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers, if they're not home and you're a public information officer, you're supposed to be making sure the world knows they're still not home with regular updates. And if you can't, and it says in the investigative guide for Amber Alert, you don't have to give investigative updates, but if there's nothing to give to the public, you show the face, the child's face, say their name, and let people know he's not home where he belongs. That too is not happening. Sumner County Sheriff's Office has not done a press conference since April 2nd of 2024. And we watched that, was that day before yesterday together? It was not a lot. It was no new information, but that there was no foul play, no evidence that the family was involved. TBI said they were pretty much helping out. When you watch those press conferences, look for keywords in those. When they say pretty much, you know that means not completely. Allegedly, in my opinion, but that's it. Yes, happy to all the September birthdays. D for me, your birthday too? Very nice. So let's talk about failed. We have lots of updates coming in, by the way. And we have updates. One very important about the FBI. I feel Sebastian was failed, and I know many of you do as well. I feel something happened to him, and then others created the vanishing. So I think someone did something to him and created the act of what happened to Sebastian. And then the cover-up I call the vanishing. Because children do not just vanish. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie's on a roll tonight. Minnie, I hope I thanked you. Did I thank you in our Unplugged for lunch yesterday? That was very thoughtful of you. And now Minnie has gifted a membership. Please thank her and be there Saturday. I'll be showing pictures of my new area. And then we'll be getting to all the nitty gritty of what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and share the update. Also, after the update, his I-7, your birthday Saturday. Well, happy birthday, everyone. Hi, Baba Rose. Hello, Beck Hyrule. Everyone. Hi, Nicey. Hi, Kiki. And everyone here, if I haven't greeted you personally, welcome in. So we have updates. And then I thought we would finish the podcast that we listened to the last time we were together on Sebastian. We started watching a podcast, 50 words for M, and it's with Seth Rogers. And we learned a lot of information. Obviously, we knew Sebastian loved cats, but it was so much information. His favorite things, road trips, and Seth talked about deep sea fishing on the coast in Gulf Coast in Texas. So we really learned a lot about Sebastian and the situation. And during that first half of the podcast that we watched, Seth did reveal the tragic events that happened to Sebastian under the watch of KP and CP in California in their apartment with a boy 5 years older than he is, and CPS call there as well. So I'm glad Seth revealed that, because he said to CP on that podcast, he said, "You're not going to hold this over my head. So I've just told everyone." So kind of makes sense, because if you recall, there was a statement, and we can't read CP's mind, but thank God, in my opinion, but he said one time, if I said what I want to say about Sebastian, no one would look for him. Well, that's not true. So Seth said he was calling Sebastian a pedo rather than looking at him as a victim. Hey, Julie, rather than looking at him as a victim. Very heartbreaking to call your stepchild that when they've been through something during their watch again. Seth also talked about he's just a really good dad. He's very hands-on with Sebastian. He worked part-time when Sebastian was younger and they were living in California, I believe. He worked part-time so he could be the caregiver for Sebastian. KP went into the Navy and he was the parent. And as we look at the search, and this is my opinion, I definitely want you to form your own. We see that he's the parent, correct? He's out there searching. He's not taking vacations. He's not gambling in casinos. He's not doing any of the above. He's searching for Sebastian. He's standing outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office with a microphone trying to get attention. And you know what really bothers me about that? Is when that rapper got arrested, there was a rapper that got Sumner County arrested and put in jail. So people were protesting about corruption and, all this for Sumner County outside Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Well, guess who made an appearance? The sheriff shook their hand, thanked them for peacefully protesting. Seth did not get that. Things, in my opinion, are very targeted against Seth. Very targeted against Seth. So I thought we'll go over the updates, and then I want to listen to the second half of that podcast and see what more we can learn. And another thing Seth shared is that is exactly why CP didn't want Sebastian with Faith. He was trying to call him say he'll do it to her instead of having empathy and care for him. So they didn't see each other the last time she was out there and Sebastian was still in Hendersonville. He went to his dad's and she was at the house on Stafford. Okay. And they are very close, by the way, love each other very much, but they didn't get to see each other. So a very sad thing. This young man, we've heard about his life. We heard about what went on in his world. We heard about CPS. We heard about mom not engaging with him or interacting with him in the home, according to some documents from family therapy that Sebastian did with Sebastian, that mom was not interacting with him in the home. And I just don't understand what was going on. But CPS failed him because CPS should have been doing an investigation, reported it to law enforcement, and all of them should have investigated. And the more I look into it, they say when there's 4 and 5 CPS reports, they need to be doing something to make sure safety is involved for the child. And then we talk about, California being a CPS report. And then my question is, was there one on when they lived in Gallatin? Could that have inspired a move? I'm just throwing things out there, speculating, because this is for entertainment purposes only. We will use what is factual out there in the public, but I may at times my theory, my speculation, and my opinion. My chat does the same and says, in my opinion, I am not responsible for their comments, and we are all here for Sebastian, and no one is being accused. We are just scratching our heads wondering how in the world people can be silent about a child. Before I get to the X update, when I also say silenced and failed, there are people out there who have information, my friends. There are people out there who had information day one, but when asked, they didn't report it, okay? And they don't feel it's their place, and they don't, it's just, in my opinion, very weird, okay? So if you're trying to talk about a child and saying you want to help, right? And you've been doing this for 18 months and you're keeping secrets in your pocket that are crucial, you're not helping. Stay home, turn off your YouTube, turn off your social media. You're not helping. because if someone has crucial information that from the command post, from the county commissioners, from TBI agents, from law enforcement, from canine handlers, who knows? But if you have crucial information and you say you care about Sebastian, you don't say it's not my place to tell. It was a private conversation that was shared with me. Well, guess what? Anyone keeping things private should be behind bars. So maybe some people who are keeping information will joining them. I don't know, but it's intolerable. You got get the person who the pig fest not allowing Sebastian's flyers out. CPS never didn't remove Sebastian, move someone from that home, never notified the stepfather. Mom doesn't want the flyers. Mom doesn't want to search. Mom doesn't want to do national interviews. Mom doesn't want to show his home, his room, to emotionally connect people to Sebastian during the America Most Wanted interview. They go ahead and, from what I've heard, I can't verify, went ahead and got an Airbnb in Goodlettsville. Oh, yes, McWrapping Recovery. McWrapping Recovery says Sumner County should have got their hands on a lot of information. Yes, the command post was hopping that first day watching footage from the neighbors. Okay. I could literally say something to you, and I'm not going to, but I'm mind blown. Okay. Mind blown. So when people are telling you they're trying to help, what you need to ask them is, do you know something you're not sharing? You're hiding it because a friend might have told you or someone might have told you, and you don't want to betray your friend or a relationship. Well, guess what? That person's betraying Sebastian. So please don't come out and speak about Sebastian anymore or any of that, because shame on you. And I'm talking to numerous people. There's a lot of people who know things. And please, yes, add, in my opinion. I don't want any of you to have any lashback either. So let's go ahead and get to the updates. We have some promising updates today. At Night Creative Intelligence, who is hired by the father, Sebastian Rogers, because he is not going to tolerate, sorry, I just went to X and then I forgot to share it with you. He's not going to tolerate silence. He's going to keep looking. He hired a team because he didn't feel he needed more. Okay, we're just going to say it that way. And that team is At Night Creative Intelligence, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and One World. They have announced today, let me make sure you see it, that Sebastian's cavalry, his army, has just expanded threefold. Okay. So times 3. They do share with us the updates, and they even mentioned Blake Shelton possibly. So let's get to it, my friends. And I did let them know today. I said, what about Taylor Swift? She's from there, so we're all trying to, raise the roof with with spreading awareness. And for some reason, some of the locals and the officials and whatever's going on there, commissioners, law enforcement, everyone, they're trying to silence everything. So let's go ahead and get to it, read this exciting update, because if At Night weren't doing this, nothing would be happening right now. Nothing would be happening right now. Yes, Sebastian was a Swiftie. So I suggested that they, if they could, reach out to her. I let them know I have an email that I had written to her a while ago, but I didn't have a contact yet. So here we go. Sebastian, your cavalry has just expanded threefold. We currently are in discussions to engage additional organizations for support. More details will follow as soon as they're available. United will find you. And that was a couple hours ago. And Dog the Bounty Hunter came on to, they released more images. Okay, good. Dog the Bounty Hunter he said thank you to the FBI and Kash Patel. Here you go, right there. At FBI Director Kash, thank you, sir. And that was a couple hours ago as well. And here we go. This is beautiful. Now, for those of you who have knowledge and you now see that Director Kash Patel is coming in the FBI, I suggest maybe you start deciding to spill it, because anyone who knows about a crime who isn't sharing is aiding and abetting to that crime. At Night Private Intelligence, let me let you know when this was. Sorry, I didn't say that at first, 2 hours ago as well. At Night Private Intelligence Agency. At Night Creative Intelligence Agents, for immediate release. At Night and One World statement on the FBI update in the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So the FBI is now posting about Sebastian. At Night Private Intelligence Agency and One World thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Director Kash Patel for elevating national awareness around the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It's such good news. The FBI's detailed public notice is the first of many collaborative steps we expect as awareness widens and more partners join the effort to bring him home. And we're going to read that update. Read the FBI's latest update here, and we are going to. We are grateful for Director Patel's at FBI Director Kash's leadership and the Bureau's commitment to protecting those who too often have no voice. Amen. So I do wonder, this is from, they also put out their satellite imagery, which we will go over before we get to the podcast. Okay. I so enjoy you all. By the way, I want to say thank you so much for being such a wonderful group of people, community, and Sebastian's Army. I want to keep reading, and then we will go read all of the, here's Kash Patel. And Dog thanked him also. Let's go ahead and read their update for you, for us. Look at the pictures. September 4th. What's today? The 4th. It is September 4th. For some reason, y'all, I keep thinking it's the 5th. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts. For those of you new to the case, Sebastian went missing he was last seen February 25th, leaving the Texas Roadhouse in the year 2024. There is a $500,000 reward collectively for Sebastian. $50,000 is coming from the FBI. The other $450,000 is coming from At Night, Dog, all of them. They're people who are donating and their pockets, okay? $500,000. Someone needs to speak up, because many people, in my opinion, are aiding and abetting. If you can say it was not a random kidnapping, it was targeted. Sebastian did not leave on his own. Or perhaps Sebastian was carried out. By goodness, you've got knowledge. I suggest you start picking up the phone and sharing it, because it is called aiding and abetting. The FBI is offering a reward up to $50,000 for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts. And I would rather share now than have to do it on trial. Oops, sorry, it didn't share with you guys. Sorry, let me get to it. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Burkal says, I want to show it and it keeps the chat's going so fast. Buzz, you are so sweet and polite. We owe it to you. Thanks for all you do. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Very kind words. We have a very sweet community. We're all very uplifting to each other, and I appreciate that. Okay, let me get to the update. Let's see if I could share this instead. Okay, can you see it now? Perfect. So Sebastian was reported missing the next morning. He was last seen leaving the Texas Roadhouse with his mother. Mom claims they went home alone. Mom claims he took out the trash to the front of the house, the end of the driveway, which is still mind blowing as to why she has said it was trash trucks, repeated that it was trash trucks in the backyard, because of course they know it's not. The neighbors know no trash truck was in the backyard. Okay, you don't go four-wheeling through the backyards for the trash cans, but have your child put them at the end of the driveway in the front. I've always told you I felt like there was something with the trash. Okay, it was on trash. He went missing as Sonny Weatherford, the sheriff that is no longer alive. He went missing before the trash was picked up and reported missing after. That 30 minutes where they said they noticed him missing at 6:03 and called 6 o'clock and called within a couple of minutes. Well, dispatch has him in at 6:33. So there's a 30-minute gap. And in my opinion, one of the reasons for that gap, I'm guessing, is to let that trash truck exit the neighborhood. They did search the landfill for where the Proudfoot's trash went. Sonny Weatherford saying on a news report that now we're going to go home and examine what we have found and determine if we're going to come back. So something was found. We have a fleet company that says that they were dropping off trash at the landfill and saw them find a garbage bag of Sebastian's clothing. We can't verify that, so I'm just letting you know. Okay, we haven't verified that. I haven't verified that. I've also been told that dogs did hit at the landfill. I have not been told that by anyone investigatively. I have not been, but that's what I've heard. Have we confirmed it? No, but I'm pretty well, we'll just move on. But we did, that's what some of the things that are going around there are. Okay. Absolutely, Whispering. That's exactly right. If you think about this, I did a poll before we get to this update. I want to tell you all that poll we did the other day, if it was whether or not you thought Sebastian made it home, but something had already happened to him, injured or harmed before he got home, never made it home, or got home after the Texas Roadhouse. Interestingly, in the last 18 months, when I've done those polls, high percentage, probably 60 to 75%, thought Sebastian had never made it home. Now, let me check the poll now. Now we have a swing. Our community now feels Sebastian did make it home, the majority of you. Let me tell you the percentage. And I find that interesting. And what Whispering Winds just said is she believes he made it home, hence the videos and the audios and everything else, right? Yes, absolutely. Let me get this poll up for you. 72% of you now believe something happened to him after getting home, but he made it home. 1% of you believe he made it home, but he was taken back there after he was already injured or harmed. 25% of you think Sebastian did not ever return home after the Texas Roadhouse. 2% of you had other theories, mixed theories, where he maybe went through hell that evening, but not sure what happened. Yes, and someone left under there about Summer Wells and the corruption in Rogersville, and that is our next live on Summer, which I'm behind today, is going to be about the sheriff and a shocking story if you don't know about his son. Very serious charges against his son regarding children. SA in my opinion. Hi, Michelle. And rather than getting a sentence, you can imagine how many years someone would normally get, right? He got a year in the county jail. So that has put a real big red flag up at Hawkins County. And there's actually someone else running against him now. And I'm sure it'll be a green light I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that other person will get in. So many of you believe he got home now because we do have video. And as many times as you want to hear someone say there is no evidence, there is nothing once he got home, once he left the Texas Roadhouse, whatever, I have been told by local sources that at the command post, they were watching the footage day one. We had a retired neighbor, who's not retired, a neighbor there who's not even, he's a Hendersonville cop, part-time, who was watching the footage. County commissioners were there watching the footage. Law enforcement was there watching the footage. TBI agents were there watching the footage. There were there were people all around. Now, I did hear they asked Seth to leave, but I haven't verified that with Seth. Very interesting. And another thing that's interesting is when they went and searched Seth's apartment, and they just flipped his apartment, for Sebastian, took all the electronics, except for Sebastian's school laptop, which I find very odd. And then he was, what was that? Did you hear that? Something just said the time over here. Then he said, and then he was going back to search again for his child, and they told him to stay home, to start again tomorrow. Why? Now, why would you tell a father not to go back out and search that night? Why would you want him to stay at his apartment? And to me, that's really, really concerning. Yeah, that was spooky. You know what I just realized it was? My Alexa. That is really, really concerning. So a lot of silencing, a lot of showing, in my opinion, of relationships that exist. And that's why maybe the father's not getting the treatment he should as being the only parent searching and looking for the missing child. Now, you imagine when Sebastian returns, and I'm going to say that because Seth believes he's returning, and I'm going to believe it until we hear differently. Okay. When Sebastian returns, I think the first thing he's going to wonder is, why wasn't mom searching? Why wasn't mom standing next to dad on that corner with the microphone? Why isn't mom doing all these media right? FBI. The FBI is offering the reward up to $50,000 for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts. This handsome man is young man is Sebastian Rogers. He was 15 when he went missing. He is now 16 years old. Glasses such as these were found in the neighborhood where his step-grandparents live, just steps away from the home, just a few homes away. They were so close, Seth told his volunteer search team to bag them and tag them. And the prescription, Seth verified with me, they were never checked for a prescription against Sebastian's prescription. Now imagine, found in the neighborhood where step-grandparents live, right after he's been missing, and don't check the glasses prescription. So how did we clear them? Word of mouth? Whose word of mouth? Because Seth said they were way too close to tell. So a father says they're so close I can't tell, and we don't go check a prescription. Please, God, tell me we didn't go talk to KP and take her word for it. And I say that for those of you listening who don't understand why I'm saying that. I challenge, please, and all her interviews, there isn't a consistent interview. Originally, she went to bed at midnight. They had a 3-hour phone call. Okay. Then after a year, she says she went to bed on the Dateline. She went to bed at 11. That takes the phone call to 2 hours. But originally, CP said, we were on the phone for 3 hours. Every law enforcement agency has vetted it, logged it. Well, that's not true because you weren't on for 3 hours. She says she went to bed at 11 now. Then she added that once the windows were up, she was seen driving around the neighborhood searching with her windows up instead of down, calling his name, screaming for him. Once that happened, to the narrative was added, and I stopped to talk to a late neighbor who was walking her dog and she hadn't seen him. I'd love to hear from that neighbor. That neighbor has not yet come forth. I'd love to hear from that neighbor. So there's no consistency in the narrative. His last words have changed. Her nickname for him has changed. We went from Bubba to Dude. I mean, it's just very alarming. And I will tell you, those girls, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but those girls in Cleveland, the 4 who were taken and kidnapped and kept quite close to the area where they were from, they had a TV in the basement where they were kept. And they would watch the updates of their parents searching. And the families, a couple of the mothers and families had made friends and stuff. And they said after a while, it died down a little bit, and they waited for the 1-year anniversaries because those girls were there quite a long time. But there was one girl whose parents weren't out there searching with the others. And she said it really affected her that they were not out there looking. And I believe they had moved by the time she got out, and all the others, their families were in the same places, I believe, but her family had moved, and it really hurt her to see the other families searching and hers not, or the other family doing media interviews to keep their names out there and hers not. Imagine. Yes, Nicey, she said she went to bed at midnight, but Dateline, she says 11 p.m. It's just so shocking. And how do you not remember the last words you heard from your child? Yes. Right, YouTuber? YouTuber is here, said, yes, they were in a suburban house close to neighbors and weren't discovered for almost 10 years. They were in the basement, my friends. So please don't write Sebastian off. We talked about so many kids who came home and defied the odds. Elizabeth Smart, Stephen Strainer, Dugard, JC Dugard, and so many more. So we want Sebastian to join that group, right? Because his dad says he still has memories to make with him. Kiki, I'm not sure which friend you mean. If you mean CC, the one who lives behind them, yes, he has a fifth wheel. He has a fifth wheel. Nicey, I keep thinking it too. Nicey. We're talking about the RV that is at a neighbor behind them has an RV, 7 cameras, audio, night vision, but he claims he didn't catch anything on his footage. I have seen images that his footage caught prior to Sebastian's disappearance. It wasn't about Sebastian, it was someone in his yard. Bright as day. It's like broad daylight. So come on. Also, the only individual who didn't turn it into the neighborhood group saying, I turned in my footage. Also, the same individual who was riding around with them in the morning. It was set on dispatch. I have the neighbor with me while they were collecting footage. Also, the neighbor who was at the command post. Also, the neighbor who left the first vigil on Tuesday night, the 27th. And when asked what was going on or how things were going, because they knew he had been at the command center, he got tears in his eyes, and this is a police officer, tears in his eyes, and he said, it's bad. It's so, so bad. And he left. Okay. Laura, her friend Laura was there when Seth got there on Monday, apparently. Thank you, Sharon. We're going to keep his name out here because he's not home, right? And he needs a voice because he only has one parent speaking up. On February 26th, 2025. Now, this has a lot of detail in it. And this is from the FBI. They do quote Brandon Carter, and then they talk about the case. Katie Proudfoot went to wake up her 14-year-old son for school. He was 15 at the time, if you're new to the case. He is now 16. To her surprise, he was nowhere to be found. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers had spent the previous day with his mother. The pair shopped at a department store. That's new info, isn't it? Played video games at a bowling alley and had dinner at a local restaurant before heading home for the evening. Interesting. Shopped at a department store. I'm going to have to find out about that. If any of you know about that, please let me know. Unless he means the grocery store where they got snacks. Because you know he's a teenager and loves his snacks. After returning to their home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Katie and Sebastian prepared for bed. We have skipped the trash chore. The trash chore is not included, but that's okay. After returning to their home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, for those of you new to the case, I say that because the mother said when they first got home from Texas Roadhouse, he took out the trash. Stepfather said in an interview with a PI, somewhere between getting home and going to bed, the trash was taken out, but he wasn't going to give details because we got to play a game, in my opinion. Katie told us a little bit before 10 p.m. she heard a loud bang. We've gone from, just so you all know, and I am reiterating because there are people new to the case, when the mother first introduced the story, we did not hear about a noise in his room. We didn't hear about a thud in his room, and we didn't hear about a bang in his room. That was added to the narrative later. And by the way, they did not do an interview for 8 days, and locals saying, including a YouTube channel that is local, that the first things they heard about the case is that the stepfather and mother did not want their name out there, their last name, or their house filmed. Now, if you're looking for your missing child, are you going to start with restrictions immediately? I don't think so. If you are completely have nothing to do with it, and I'm not accusing anyone, I, as a mother, would say, do whatever you have to. I will answer any questions. Let's do it as quick as we can to get you out there looking, because they reported Sebastian as a runaway. And the stepfather, who wasn't there, said in an interview, let me make it crystal clear. He walked out that front door and he stepped on that porch. And for a long time, I thought they were trying to get us to look at the front door because he maybe was carried out the back, allegedly. But now I think that was said a lot because he didn't walk out on his own. So they wanted us to believe he walked out on his own when he didn't. My opinion. Okay. Katie told us a little bit before 10, she heard a loud bang. So she has told the FBI she heard a loud, this is from Brandon Carter. This is a quote from Brandon Carter. So she told Sumner County Sheriff's Office she heard a loud bang coming from Sebastian's room. Now, Sebastian has water on the brain. He is autistic, but you would not realize he is autistic if you meet him. If you see him, you're not going to say, oh, he has special needs. That was misrepresented also in the beginning. The mother and stepfather said he's mentally younger than his 15 years. And then a year later, mom came out and said he was misrepresented in the rush to get the info out. In the podcast we listened to the other day, there was not meds. The meds he was on, according to the father, were for ADHD and sleep, not autism, which was reported to the sheriff, and the sheriff reported it to the public while searching. Okay. So she heard a loud bang at 10 p.m., a little before 10 p.m. She yelled out to ask him if he was okay, to which he responded that he was, said Detective Brandon Carter from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Brandon said she told him to go to bed because they had to be up early for school the next morning. What? Okay. Now, we did not hear her say that in any of her interviews. She just said, go to bed. Whatever you're doing in there, go to bed. Katie called her husband, who allegedly was working in Memphis. His alibi, he said, started with him being in the seat of his crane at the St. Jude's project around 5:30 a.m. We've heard allegations that they don't get in their cranes that early. We've heard allegations that he had a 4-day weekend that weekend that was told to another YouTuber from employees there. And we have heard allegations also that he was let go and sent home that day because he was kind of his behavior, his whatever wasn't safe around the cranes. So Katie called her husband, who was out of town in Southwest Tennessee for work, Memphis, and the two of them spoke for nearly 2 hours before she went to sleep around midnight, yet telling the public it was 3 hours and all agencies had it logged and had seen the call. 3 hours. Now we're down to 2 because she changed her bedtime from midnight to 11 p.m. The next morning was the beginning of what would become a massive search effort for Sebastian. And remember, this is an update. This is a post about Sebastian from today from the FBI. Katie called her husband and told him she couldn't find Sebastian, that he wasn't in his room or anywhere in the house, said Carter. Katie got into her car and drove around the neighborhood, and I'm going to add something here, with the windows up, and to Sebastian's school, which was less than a mile away from their house, searching for Sebastian before returning home. Now, I will say the mother has changed that. During her last interview, during the Dateline interview, I believe, she said, as she was getting to the high school, she was told to go home. So she turned around and went home. Originally, she went to the high school to search. A year later or so, we hear, as I approached, I got a call, law enforcement was on their way, and to turn around and go home. So kind of 2 stories now. High school searched. As I was getting there, I turned around. During this time, her husband called the local emergency communication center to report Sebastian missing. And he says, that's what we do. We don't call 911. I have asked the neighbors if they had an emergency in their home, who would they call? They call 911. In the early days of the search, it seems Sebastian vanished without a trace. The case was kind of a question mark, said FBI Nashville Special Agent Robert Barrett. So now they're saying in the early days, it seemed Sebastian vanished without a trace. That's different than what we've heard, my friends. We have heard from Sumner County nothing other than that. There's no evidence. We've not seen him since he got home. No foul evidence of foul play. And now we have in this FBI update them saying in the early days, it seemed he vanished without a trace. Let's see. This case was kind of a question mark, said FBI Nashville Special Agent Robert Barrett. Well, it still is unless they've got something else. Mom wakes up and he's just gone. There's a question mark and we've got to figure out what happened. Yes, you do. And I'm glad that they're going to do that. The question mark only grew bigger as the search went on. Okay. Sebastian, so they're not saying they have anything new from the early days. They're saying the question mark only grew bigger. This is actually a very good write-up. And then there's a quote from Brandon Carter again, who is the lead detective from Sumner County Sheriff's Office that is on the case. Well, that is assigned to the case. Sebastian did not take any clothes, shoes, money, food, or his cell phone, said Carter. His cell phone and cash were both lying on the dining room table where they had been the day before when he went to bed. Now, that's new information to me, too. I heard his phone was on the island and his money was in his room. According to KP, there was a small yellow flashlight that she thinks was missing, but that was the only thing that appeared to be gone from the house. This tiny size of a finger fidget flashlight was noticeably gone. In my opinion, and many do think, if you've been following this case, that was added because of flashlights in the backyard to try and make it seem like it might be Sebastian. But Sumner County law enforcement told the father, Seth Rogers, there was no evidence Sebastian left that home. There's not a footprint or scent leading anywhere. No evidence he left that home. In my opinion, he was carried out or driven out. The first week in the search for Sebastian was a massive community and interagency effort between Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, Emergency Management Agency, that's Ken Widener, Hendersonville Police. Okay, well, maybe that's why the neighbor was there. That answers that. Gallatin Police, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the FBI, Metro Police, Wilson County Sheriff's Office, Sumner County EMS, Sumner County Emergency Response Team, and several other agencies throughout Tennessee. So Emergency Management Agency, Emergency Management Systems, and Emergency Response Team. We'll look at that. The search consisted of about a 4.5-mile radius around Sebastian's home, said Carter. There were roughly 2,000 searchers equipped with an app tracking their movements. That's the first we've heard of that. When I searched for Daniel Robinson, we had an app. We had an app. You download the app, and that way they can see every step taken, every area searched, and who searched. And also it was kind of cool because if you went out and searched alone or not with the big, huge group at other times you wanted to go out and search, you open the app and they have where you've searched. The searchers could also use the app to plot things on a map that they observed while they were out searching. The total area they covered within that 4.5-mile radius was equivalent to a combined 44,000 acres. In addition to grounds, so now they're looking for a runaway. It was reported, Sebastian was reported as a runaway child. In addition to ground searchers, law enforcement employed, this is a fabulous article, and I'm glad the FBI put this out there. In addition to ground searchers, and I thank the FBI for putting this out there, law enforcement employed every available resource at their disposal to locate Sebastian. I will tell you this, they have not called in, they did not call in the U.S. Marshals. They have not called in the U.S. Marshals, and the father has begged them to call in the U.S. Marshals. The U.S. Marshals are an available resource for missing children. So let's not say every. In addition to ground searchers, law enforcement employed every available resource at their disposal to locate Sebastian. Fire departments, mounted patrols, ATVs, search and rescue, canines, drones, helicopters, and even an airplane. Let me hide this comment. There you go. And even an airplane. During day 2 of the search, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office reached out to the FBI for assistance and specific resources that could potentially help find Sebastian, who has high-functioning autism. If you meet Sebastian, see Sebastian, come across Sebastian, and you were following the case in the beginning, he was misrepresented. His mother explained in order to get her information out quick when they were saying on their very first interview, which was on YouTube, Dutch's channel, they said he's mentally younger than his 15 years. That's been retracted now. He's very smart. She said you would not realize he has special needs. Total 360. So they even used an airplane. During day 2, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office reached out to the FBI for assistance and specific resources that could help find Sebastian, who has high-functioning autism. Sebastian had not been diagnosed too long ago before he went missing. I contacted our FBI Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team for initial consults, and then they brought in the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit to assist. For those of you new to the case, he was reported a runaway, but within 24 hours, they activated the Amber Alert for children who are kidnapped and involuntarily removed from their home, which is a crime. The behavioral analyst unit shared a statistic that about 50% of autistic children are prone to water. They are naturally drawn to bodies of water. 71% of fatal outcomes involving missing autistic children were a result of drowning. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. 71% of kids missing, 50% wander. 71% of the fatal outcomes of missing autistic children are results of drowning. This information helped us focus on search efforts in and around bodies of water. The search team drained ponds, searched waterways and lakes looking for Sebastian. So when I read this, and I'm not 100, I'm giving my opinion based on this wonderful FBI post. When I read this, that tells me Sebastian is not one of the 71% that drown. They drained the bodies of water, drained ponds, searched waterways and lakes for Sebastian. That's just my opinion, though. In addition, law enforcement searched every home in the neighborhood. Video recordings from nearby homes and a dashboard camera in Katie's car showed that Katie and Sebastian didn't leave the house after their return home from dinner, and that no other cars were seen coming or going from Katie's home during the evening and early morning hours of the night or day Sebastian disappeared. No other cars were seen coming and going from the home. Watch that wording. During the evening and early mornings of the night or day. Doesn't mean there were not cars in the neighborhood early that night or early morning hours. They mean coming or going from the home. We have followed through on and I'm glad they said it that way, because that is very telling. We have followed through on every tip that has come in, said Josh Savley, special agent in charge for the Criminal Investigation Division at the TBI. Some of those tips we continue to examine at a deeper level, but the vast majority we have cleared as being irrelevant or ended with no results. However, I will tell you, TBI agents were at the command post and did see the footage. The lack of answers in the search for Sebastian has pushed the community to widely share the story on online platforms. But law enforcement reminds the public to be wary of misinformation from unverified sources. And I will again combat that. It's not the lack of answers, it's the lack of even saying his name, posting about him, putting his picture out, anything. That's why everyone else is talking about him and trying to investigate for him. And we're not investigators. Sebastian's disappearance has deeply affected our community, said Brandon Carter. He is the lead detective from Sumner County Sheriff's Office. And from what we have been told, this is his only case since Sonny Weatherford passed away. Eric Craddock was the lead detective first on this case. Sonny Weatherford was the sheriff. Sonny suddenly had an accident at a sheriff's convention and slipped and fell in the rain and passed away, is what we've heard. And that moved Eric Craddock up into his position. Brandon Carter is lead detective of the case. We understand the desire for the community to want answers and for us to explain every step of this investigation, but we can't release all details without risking the integrity of the investigation. And I agree with that. They don't owe us to tell us investigative techniques, but they sure should respond to ransom demands, tips that are threatening his life, emails of important nature. That should be happening. They should be communicating with the father. The mother probably isn't asking for, I don't know. Let's just move on. But they should be communicating with the father. We ask that the community refocus on what matters most, and that's finding Sebastian. Staying united and supportive will bring us closer to the answers we're looking for. And that was from Brandon Carter, and I'm biting my tongue. Promptly sharing tips and information with Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, or the FBI is the best way to help find Sebastian. And we did that during the ransom. We did all of that during the threats to his life, all of that. And we whatever, lack of response. Still have not heard from Mr. Craddock on that, the sheriff. Allegedly, but actually not alleged. If you have any information concerning the whereabouts of Sebastian, please contact Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838. One thing I will tell you is if you call them, there are no directions as to where to leave a tip, how to leave a tip. You just have to keep pushing buttons and hope you get somewhere. Or the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND or tips to TBI at tbi.tennessee.gov. Tips were going to a voicemail of a retired individual at Sumner County Sheriff's Office is what was happening. You may also contact your local FBI office, and I shared that with you all the other night. If you think you see Sebastian or you have important info, call your local field office, or remember I told you Nashville's field office, FBI office has agents 24/7 on this answering. So keep calling till you get a hold of one. Continue to share Sebastian's official missing persons flyer and don't wait, said Sheriff Eric Craddock. If you see something, say something immediately. I hope people who know something are listening to this. If you see something or you know something, you need to say something. You don't protect friendships. You don't protect other people. You protect the child. If you call right then, we can get someone on the hot trail. That's Eric Craddock, the sheriff. And I'm just going to skip that comment, okay? Because you can't get a hold of him. I have not been able to. Sebastian was 5'5" tall, around 110 to 115 pounds when he was last seen. He does have brown hair and eyes that look hazel or brown. Seth, the father, said they change with his moods. He's 16 years old now. I don't like the way they say he would now be 16 years old. So he would now be 16 years old. That's okay. Sebastian has medical conditions, including autism, that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, FBI are still working collaboratively, sharing tips and information, and urging the public to work with law enforcement in hopes of bringing Sebastian home. Yes. Okay. Case rumors versus reality. Now they're bringing up the flashlight theory. See this picture here? They're claiming this is why there was flashlights in the backyard. As you can see, these are trash cans of a home. The trucks at the home on the corner. Okay. And the flashlights were moving through the backyard areas, okay? A house down the street from Sebastian's had security video footage from the night of his disappearance. And many retired homicide detectives and detectives have looked at that and said, absolutely, that's something. It's not a trash truck. A house down the street from Sebastian's had security footage from the night of his disappearance. The camera, angled in a direction that happened to be facing Sebastian's backyard, captured two small moving lights. Yes, and they moved. One comes from the house area, one comes from the road area. At first glance, the lights appeared to be right in Sebastian's yard, suggesting someone was lurking with two flashlights in hand. A potential suspect given Sebastian's disappearance that same night. Okay, let's say that again. At first glance, the lights appeared to be right in Sebastian's yard, suggesting someone was lurking with two flashlights in hand. Now, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, it looks like, well, we've seen it. We just watched it. It doesn't look like one person holding two flashlights. It's two different flashlights. A potential suspect given Sebastian's disappearance that same night. So they had a potential suspect. However, when law enforcement further investigated the video, they disproved the theory. and they said it was a trash truck. The dark sky and camera angle combined had distorted the security footage. When they examined the video in relation to the topography of the area, they found that the lights were actually coming from a pair of truck headlights flickering through the trees from a street atop a hill about 300 yards. Law enforcement further investigated to confirm that the flashlights were actually headlights. Interesting. Now it's headlights from the other house. So how did the headlights from the other house go moving come from Sebastian's house and one from the other direction? That's confusing to me. They created an overlay of the security footage in daylight with topographic map. In the daylight, it would have been clear the lights were coming from the hill. The person in the green hoodie theory. We just watched that the other night too. A video surfaced of Sebastian and Katie in the parking lot of a local restaurant they visited the night Sebastian disappeared. In the video, a person in a green hoodie briefly interacts with Katie. So they have admitted that they briefly interacted. Suspicions arose that in this short interaction, the person in the green hoodie was planning something with Katie related to Sebastian's disappearance. Law enforcement spoke with the employees at the restaurant who confirmed this person in the green hoodie was a frequent customer and helped identify them. Law enforcement went to meet this person who happened to be wearing the same green hoodie in the video and confirmed they were not a suspect. I am going to tell you, okay. Jeannie, I can't answer that. That's a question we all want to know. Jeannie says, Jay, please tell me why you have to ask the B socks and P foots. They're not blood kin. She's talking about the pig fest. Correct. They did not ask Seth. Oak Ridge boys live in Hendersonville and Marsha Blackburn does to Seth. Stad. Jay, please check date on that. The 23rd? What date? What date, Whispering? What do you mean? Check the date. So that indeed, and I'm not gonna make the comment I want to make about Green Hoodie being a frequent customer. I'm not even going to address that. Okay. I'm not even going to address that right now. But what I say is that is the opposite of what I've heard. Okay. What am I reading, Whispering Winds? It's from September 4th. Oh, you mean, oh, okay. September 4th, right here. Then I clicked on, this is from September 4th, Whispering. Okay. And this was their update from today about Sebastian Rogers. And here is Sebastian. The FBI is posting about Sebastian. Hallelujah. We appreciate it. There's some information in there that, but they are posting, and that is so appreciated. That's what we've wanted, right? We've wanted them posting. Okay. If you are in the bushes, welcome in. I'm just going to take a second and see if I have. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. Let me just see if indeed we have any questions that I need to get to for you all. Minnie Panthers, thank you for the Crime Time Buzz membership gift. If you received it, thank Minnie and join us Saturday. We're going to talk about a lot, and then I'll share you some photos of my area. And again, thank you, Panda Bear's mom. Happy birthday. Thank you so much, Whispering, for the super sticker. And Minnie, thank you so much for your donation. Match me, my favorite teacher. Let's go. You all are amazing. So what are y'all thinking about the update? What's the date on the camera thing? Oh, I'm sorry, hon. I'll go back right now. Let me go back. We were going to look. They have their footage on there too. February 23rd, 3 days before he was reported missing. February 23rd at 3 a.m. Not February 26th, February 23rd. Wow. Okay. So that's interesting, isn't it? That's really interesting. Tina says, do you think FBI really agrees with all of this? I can't speak for them, but what I can tell you is when they get quotes from lead detectives and a sheriff, they're going to include it in their articles, their quotes. So I mean, surely they saw that what they just showed, what is being shown here is from February 23rd at 3:11. Okay. Hi, Nana Rocks. Good to have you. Very interesting. Now let's go back because sorry about that, you all. I kicked myself out. Okay, we are going. Am I still muted or can you hear me? Give me a 1 if you can hear me. I by accident kicked myself out. Thank you. Okay. Please give it a thumbs up if you have not. Thank you so much. We are going to go back now to X because At Night has put, so right here, February 23rd. Okay. That's, see the vehicles here? Okay. So we are going to go back to At Night because they have posted their imagery as well. And I do think Kash Patel. Remember, they said that within 30 minutes, the United States federal government had responded. Now we have Sebastian's cavalry, his army is expanding threefold. So the FBI is standing with At Night, and sounds like there might be 2 other individuals, right? Or 2 other agencies even. He did mention that he's not promising Blake Shelton. Okay. Let me try and find that update real quick. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at all of this. Imagery is meant to be enjoyed, to be informative, to give you a sense of wonder about a location. We want to see more of what we capture. Check out our coverage in 40 plus countries. Okay. So these are the kind of things that they do. Anybody up for a game of pickleball? Apparently many people are. And these are pickleball courts seen from the sky. 2017, 2025. The United States responded in under 30 minutes, paperwork in hand, yet the local police stayed silent and ignored our client, insisting by insinuation that they didn't want federal involvement. But in 30 minutes, they got a response from the United States. At the same time, entire regions tied to this case went untouched, left outside the scope of the search. That's why months ago, At Night secured satellite imagery through our partners at Vexel, targeting the very areas others seemed intent on avoiding. I think the water silos need to be checked. And, I've been saying that a long time. And also the hidden cemetery right near where the glasses were found in the step-grandparents' neighborhood, where our step family member is the builder and owns a lot of that land. That needs to be checked, in my opinion. Family ties and political connections should not dictate where the truth is allowed to go unless you're Alec Murdaugh. Reminder, this is for transparency. Don't flood tip lines or interfere with ongoing investigations. This is from February, I believe this was from February 23rd, was it not? I don't recall. Okay. But this is the neighborhood. This, let me locate. This was Sebastian's home. This is Sebastian's home. Well, I'm sure if he's found, in my opinion, he'll be living with his father, whom he was supposed to be living with, if you're new to the case, just a couple months shortly after. And also, for a little reference, the stepfather and the mother wanted to put him in a residential place. The place they recommended had too much abuse, deaths, things like that. The father said, no, we'll look for something that suits him if we're going to make that decision. And then poof, he was gone about 8 weeks later. Okay, let's see here. So it was, yes, this was from September 23rd, what I just showed you. Okay. February 23rd, excuse me. So what's going on in here? Oh, that's right. Remember, we've seen this. This is the white truck that's on the road in front of the house. There's a white truck at the Texas Roadhouse. There's a white truck that sits, there's a white truck right here. So that isn't his truck, because his truck's right there. So there's a lot going on that we will look at. We have a closer up one of that we can get to all the satellite imagery soon, one of these days. Okay. I thought, let's see if they have, what else they have posted here. This was yesterday. Meet Andy Gilley, who runs Hendersonville's Parks and Recreation Department and also owns Pig Fest. Why is the same person in charge of the event and making money from it? Plus, Andy banned Sebastian and has the final word on decisions. Why would Andy ban Sebastian? There's Andy. There he is. Why would he ban Sebastian? Why wouldn't he want to help raise awareness for Sebastian? Did I? Okay. And that's his information right there from an email. And here we go. Let's read about this. I don't think I can read it. It's about the Pig Fest. We'll have to look it up another time. If any of you are going, let us know. I don't understand why he would not want, that would be an opportunity as a business owner, as the Pig Fest owner, to show what a community man he is that cares for kids in the community. And he said he was sorry, not passing out flyers, but go to some local schools not near the event and you're welcome to. Yeah, let's not start that rumor in chat, my friends. Please. Please, please, please. We are going to get to the podcast. It is called, you messaged him and got no answer back, me and you. Well, I'm sorry, but thank you for messaging. Thank you so much. We are going to listen to more of the podcast titled M is 50 Words for M. And Seth Rogers is on there, and it's absolutely fabulous. We are going to have to listen for some reason on my phone because you guys couldn't hear it the other day. Let me see if I play it now, if you can hear it, or if I need to use my phone again. So we're going to do a test. I'm going to play it and stop. And if you can hear this, put ones. Give me a one if you can hear that. Give me a 0 if you cannot. Hi, Wild Wolf. Can you hear that? Okay. I don't think you can. Okay, I will put it on my phone again. I don't know why we're not hearing that. That's really interesting, but I will get it pulled back up for us. It's filled with so much information. And the person who does this podcast is a local. Where is it? 50 words for... Trying to find it here. Okay, we're going to listen to it on Apple. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to fast forward it quite a bit.
I know also that means that you've now taken up.
I mean, it wasn't just that, you know, we have a car together, we have joint debt, we have...
Hold on 1 second.
Like what happens to my daughter in the event that I pass away. Like there were some real things we needed to figure.
Let me make sure we get Seth Rogers' one on here. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to mute myself while I set it up. Camille, welcome to our family. We have a new member, everyone, and we are all family. Whether you're a subscriber in the bushes, replay, a member, we're all family. And welcome in. Please welcome Camille. I'm going to mute myself while I'm setting this up. Okay, 50 words for murder, and we are going to pick up about where we left off the other night. I will take the other video at the end of this one, so if you missed the first half of it, you will be able to listen to the first half. There's so much good information in there. Let me get the banner up so we can give credit for fair use. This is such a great interview with so much information. Let me get it in here. Get our banners up. There we go. Let me edit that one. I like the name of his podcast, 50 Words for Murder. If you missed our Unplugged today, it was funny. We had a good time. Whispering was hilarious. Okay, full credit to. Let me get that up there. 50. Sorry, y'all. I was out at an event right before this, so I didn't get it all set up for you. We're going to show that, and we're going to scroll the other one. There you go. Okay. Are you ready? Whispering, that was so much fun. We had so much fun in Unplugged today. We learned a lot. We raised our awareness for some of the secret code messaging and chats, texts, and things. Okay, are you ready? We're going to start listening now. This is 50 Words for Murder. This is an interview with Seth Rogers from April 4th, 2024. Hi. Shh, 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 shh.
But they let that happen. And they didn't bother to try to even get my son help. until last year. Here, my son has just turned 15 in December. It means he's been dealing with an emotional, stressful, traumatic incident for the last 7 years. And I've been trying to help him. I've been trying to get him help. Going to talk to his doctor and telling them what happened. And for the doctor to tell me, she was like, I knew none of this stuff. And I'm like, really? Because he's supposed to be seeing a therapist for this. And she's like, well, he's not seeing the right type of therapist for this type of trauma. I care about my son.
Heartbreaking.
And actions speak so much louder than words. And there's just no justification for the actions that I have seen from them. They're not parents. They're not parents at all. And I want to know what happened to my son.
It is, Diane, I know. Please hit that thumbs up so we
You
can get
deserve
this
to
out
know
there.
what happened to your son. Every bit.
And this is a local who's,
And I'm sorry, I don't think we're aware of that. And I am so sorry that, number one, that he went through that, and two, that as a parent, you know, you're going through a parent's worst nightmare, but that's like the second worst nightmare.
My son around his daughter. Because Chris has turned around into my mother told my mom, your grandson's a pedophile. No, he's not. He's a victim that hasn't got the help that he deserves and that he needs.
Amen.
So that he can get over the traumatic incident that has happened to him.
amen.
That should have never happened underneath their watch to begin with. That's why Chris doesn't want my son around his daughter. Because he's scared that my son is going to do the same thing that was done to him under his watch. And Chris Proudfoot, if you're listening to this, you can't hold that over my head. I told you. You're going to piss me the fuck off, and I don't give a fuck who knows. It's your fault. It's your and your wife's fault. You guys don't deserve to be around kids.
You know, I don't know if you listen to it, but I know that you're aware of Nina Gomez's video. And I'm going to say this based on what I've heard and having dealt. So my account started off as toxic and narcissistic behavior because of the type of parent that I had. He doesn't even want his own daughter. It's what I heard. And it's just all about control. And it's about control with Sebastian. That was pretty clear because I had a lot of step parents, more than I want to admit. And most of them would have never disciplined me without talking to to a biological parent. They sure as hell wouldn't have hit me. So it's for him, I think it really is control. And maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but I'm kind of like, I'm with you at this point, kind of like, fuck it. Because everything that has come out, every word that has come out of his mouth, he double talks. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. He can't keep his story straight in one single interview. So I'm fully with you. And I feel that most people who have seen this going down, have seen everything that's happened, watching it because this case has become incredibly public, are on your side, and we all feel the same way about them. Because the way, I'm just going to say it. You're out there every day. I've said that a million times. And the only reason you're not out looking for your kid, is you're not looking for something that's lost, is because it's not lost to you. You know right where it is. You know right where he is. And that's why, in my opinion, I think I told you that too on the phone. So every day you're out there busting your ass. And I'm going to tell you, he hurt himself. So like when you see the way he stands and stuff like that, this man is in pain. Like he's got the massager right now. I don't think there's better timing for me to bring this up. This man is constantly in pain. He doesn't sleep. He maybe gets 30 minutes to an hour a night, tirelessly, while the others were literally, I'm just going to say this because I'm pissed off because, again, like I said, this is my community, okay? They were at the Cracker Barrel 5 minutes from my house on Easter, and then they left town again. They haven't been seen. And I just don't understand that. The last time you saw shit like that was with Chris and Roberta Laundrie.
Boom.
So I'm just saying. I want to kind of go on to something a little bit different because I know that it's taking a massive emotional toll on
This
you.
is
So,
from April 4th, 2024.
going to the search, can you take us back to the moments leading up to Sebastian's disappearance and what was happening during your lives at that time, which led him to whatever you believe, whatever you know, whatever you're able to share, what was going on at that time for him to disappear?
I talked to him on Thursday. Everything seemed to be normal. I mean, sorry, it hurts.
I know, it's okay. I know. Emotionally and physically at this point. And if you don't want to answer anything, if something's getting too much for you, you don't have to answer it.
I'm just trying to focus so I can answer the questions. That's all. Pain is a overwhelming distraction at times. Sebastian was going to school. Whole point of him finishing his first year was he was supposed to come live with me. We were supposed to do a swap where she would have every other weekend. He would be living with me, school. And if she wanted him on his breaks, then she would be able to have him on the breaks.
If
Not, then he would stay with me. I mean, I wanted full custody of my son since the divorce, but I don't believe it's my right to take a child's mother away. That's something that the child would debate or would decide at a later point in time. Only thing I wanted to do was protect him, and
Respectfully, not every person who is a mother is a good mother or deserves to be.
amen. Or father. But Seth is father.
makes me feel like shit.
You didn't do anything wrong. You're still not doing anything wrong.
Should have done things different. You would have been in that situation.
I know that me saying this isn't going to help you from beating yourself up. You're going to do that regardless. But look at the situation that you've been dealing with. It's not, you're going up against two people who are constantly battling you, and every bit with your son. It's the same thing that Nina was talking about. They battle every step of the way because it's about control. It has nothing to do with love of the children. It has to do with control. That's what it is. So how do I put it? Yes, you married her. Yes, you've been having this co-parenting situation for a long time. I have talked to you enough, and I've seen you talk in other interviews enough to know that you are not like that. And when you have somebody who is not like that, it's hard sometimes to grasp the full spectrum of what you're really dealing with. So you can sit there and beat yourself up and say, I could have done this, I should have done this, but you don't know what you don't know. And I don't think you truly know what you're dealing with or have been dealing with.
Just makes me a little harder. It just makes me want to find him faster.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, And again, this is one of those that I know with an investigation, you can be very limited. So if you can't answer, just say you can't answer. And if you don't want to, I don't want to take too much of a toll on you. But in your opinion, what do you think might have happened to Sebastian? Do you have any theories or suspicions about his disappearance that you're comfortable sharing? If not, that's okay.
I'll let you know. I have theories and suspicions all day long. All day long, most they're suspicions. You know, can't really back it up because I'm not in charge of the investigation. But it don't make sense if there's no scent of him leaving the house on a weekend that was 70, 75 degrees. Then he didn't walk away from the house.
I think that it's very, I'm just going to say it. I think it's very obvious he didn't just walk away from the house. If the story that's being painted or told to us is true, he went out there barefoot, then there is no way that those bloodhounds would not have picked up a scent leaving that property somewhere, and they didn't. But there's no way that he.
Been something. There's concrete. You lose skin cells all the time. You're barefoot. You've got socks on.
That's the podcast, not my sound.
And it's just none of this makes sense.
Only thing that could make sense. That's the only reason why a dog would not have picked up a scent. Any of the dogs that came out would not have picked up a scent.
And you're going to lose particles. They're going to, and it's just. And none of this makes sense. None of this makes.
The only thing that would make sense for the dogs not to get a scent is that if he left that house in a vehicle and didn't walk off like they said. That's the only thing that could make sense. That's the only reason why a dog would not have picked up a scent. Any of the dogs that came out would not have picked up a scent. No cameras picked him up, and there are in 2024 people. You don't just vanish.
No. In 2024, I'll walk outside right now, and you look around, and people have at least their porch light on. Something that makes it obvious so that if you're walking around the house, they can see. Nobody has their yard and their house all blacked out. So
Operation Blackout.
Can't see shit unless you're fucking hiding something.
I will tell those of you, we're listening to a few minutes that we did listen to, but I will tell some of you that after Sebastian went missing, when at home, the porch light was on, which I find very, very strange. So normal behavior, which is admissible in court, they use it. What is someone's normal behavior? What was their behavior around the time of a crime occurring? If your normal behavior is different than your behavior during the time of a crime, it gives investigators a red flag. And the porch light goes on. Oh, sorry. Let me start it again.
I would agree. But even in the dark, a lot of these cameras can still pick up.
Well, I am law enforcement, and I'm not trying to sit there and point fingers. But you think for 1 second the people that lived there did not know where people's cameras were at?
They know. And again, you don't have to say anything to what I'm going to say, but I find it odd that she works for ADT and there's no security.
She works for home security.
It was Brinks? Okay, somebody said AG. I thought it was Brinks, but okay, Brinks. But so same thing though. You work for them, you get free security systems or at least discounted. So I find that I just have found that very, I'll just say odd is what I'll say.
Unusual, weird.
Unusual. Yeah. It's strange. So you for a month you probably know every inch of Hendersonville about now, and some other areas: Natchez Trace Park, Goodlettsville, Madison, Gallatin, probably Clarksville. And that being said, can you walk us through the efforts that you've made in your search for Sebastian since he went missing, and what has that process been like for you?
Tolling. I have been to Drake's Creek Park. I have been across from there. I've walked through water clear up to my ankles, well, to my calves. I had water up to my ankles in my boots. My parents have helped me search, and this was just the first week. I have been up and down Happy Hollow, Muddy Hollow, Tier Branch. I've been to the tallest point in Hendersonville. Didn't know that until I spoke to the gentleman that has a house up there.
What's the tallest point in Hendersonville?
There is a road that comes off of, what is it? It's New Long Hollow Pike goes this way. It's the road right next to the high school.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. Okay, I was just curious because I didn't know that was the tallest point in Hendersonville.
It's not, but if you pull up, you make the first left on there. I'm sorry, and you take that around. It actually goes all the way up to the tallest point in Hendersonville. At least that's what the gentleman told me that was outside of his house. He was there waiting on his wife to come back because he had locked himself out of the house. He told me they had been following it, and he had been looking around, and I think that was on the Wednesday after he went missing. But I lost my the first week just driving around screaming my son's name.
Without his windows up, by the way. His windows would be down.
If he was in that area, he would have heard me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty loud voice. And then going back to everything, because now we're starting to research every place that we've been, because I think he's alive, and I think somebody has him, and I think they're moving him around, trying to stay away from wherever I'm searching. See, now I've got people that want to follow me around, follow my volunteers around. They want to go in there a couple days after we've been there. We've gone back to places that we've put out flyers 3 days later, and there's no flyers there anymore. They're literally ripping our flyers down and getting rid of them.
Mm.
Somebody doesn't want me to find my son. It's not motivation.
Now, this was, just so you all know, Sebastian was reported missing February 26th of 2024. 4th of 2024. Seth thinks they're moving him around. They're taking down flyers. Someone doesn't want me to find my son. That was 17 months ago. He said this. And he still feels the same way, as do I.
To make me stop. You guys, you can't threaten me and make me stop. You might be able to stop volunteers from showing up because you're threatening people. But this is my heart that's out here missing, and I have to find it. I have to find the rest of me. And you guys ain't gonna make me stop.
The one thing, so there are people that have been following him, that have been trying to interfere with the search, and the level of audacity. He is a corrections officer who works, in a prison with some of the worst of the worst. You're not going to intimidate this man. You're not. What kind of support? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I do work with maximum security, but I guess some of them are the worst of the worst, but they're still human. They're still human too. They they're there to pay for their crime that they've done. All right. But I'll tell you what, even criminals have an issue with people that hurt kids. All right.
Absolutely.
So do gangsters. So does the mob. So does everybody. Normally, you don't mess with kids. You don't mess with kids, and you've messed with a kid that is autistic. And the worst thing is that you mess with mine, and I won't stop. I'm not gonna stop. You can't make me stop. You can't threaten me and make me stop. It's not gonna work. Get over yourself. You ain't that important. And I'm talking to whoever's got my kid, whoever's wanting to follow my volunteers around. You're pathetic. And you're a coward.
Well, like I said, you're not going to stop volunteers in this area. This community wants to try to find him, and we're not scared. It's a good community. What kind of support would you say you've received from the community, from authorities, from organizations during the search for Sebastian?
I've received a lot of support from everybody. Everybody that comes out to help search for my son. Every business owner that allows me to put my son's flyer in their window. Property owners that I get a hold of and I call up, and they literally drive over to where their property is and unlock it and let us come in and search. I mean, it's extraordinary. And I appreciate that 100%. When I call you up and I ask if I can go on your property, I'm not accusing you. I'm just asking because this is private property. It's yours. And the only thing I can do is ask you if it's okay if I come on it to search for my son. And I appreciate those that say yes. Those that say no, it's your prerogative to say no, but why would you try to stop me from finding my son? I'm not asking you to let me search this on my own. You can walk with me. You can come with me. Help me find my son.
Right.
That has been my plea the whole time. I need people to come help me find my son. Heads up, eyes open. He could be around the next corner.
So I know that we've talked about this toward the beginning of this. For people who are local, who want to come help, who want to come bring eyes to this with you, because there's somebody in here who just a second ago said that they're a preacher in Gallatin, and I'm sure he can get the congregation, things like that going. Where is the best place to find where y'all are searching, how to get there, how to get in touch with the people who are organizing that? What's the best way for that? That's going to be my first question in regard to that.
We're meeting at 1. We meet there every morning at around 9:30 at the Rudder, at the parking lot at the Rudder. That's where we meet. We hand out flyers to get out people flyers. We have everybody sign in. The only reason we have people sign in is so that at the end, we know how many volunteers we had so we can do a head count. So we're not missing anybody, because the last thing we want is somebody to go missing while we're searching for my son. I don't want anybody hurt or injured. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, open your mouth and say it. I try to split people up so that, they have equitable protection. There are people that literally are armed with my people.
If somebody local too wanted to get a flyer to hang, like a business owner in their window, or obviously there's the yard signs around, who would people contact to get that? Do you know?
If you're trying to print it out yourself, you can always go on the TBI website and print it out. If you're wanting flyers so that you can put them up so that customers, your patrons can grab a flyer when they come in. Swing by. I got stacks of them. UNC left me 10,000 flyers, and we will go through them. TBI has told me that they will print out more flyers for me. I asked for 6,000 the last time I spoke to them. They were kind of like, really? And I'm kind of like, I'll take all you can give me, because I'm not going to stop. I got people tearing down flyers and taking them out, and so I got to replace those too. It just means I have to double my efforts more than they already are.
What about the yard signs that we see? Do you know where those are at?
From my understanding, there is a gentleman by the name of Rick Wheeler that has those. I can find his information.
Okay, I can always update people with that, but I know that I'll put one in my yard. I'm happy to do that. There's one actually right at the corner of my neighborhood.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
And I'm happy to pass out some flyers and some stuff too, and be out there again to help you search. So I'm glad that you've gotten good support from everybody, and I'm putting the address up for everyone. If you want to go help search, if you are local, look, you don't have to come out for the full day. Lend some time, a couple hours. It's, if you have 10 people lend an hour, that's 10 hours. That's what they need. They need eyes. That's the most important thing in these searches. If you were here yesterday listening to Caleb Harris's parents, that's what they need too. Eyes. That's what.
Rest in
That's what
peace,
Seth
Caleb.
needs.
On your way to work, if you're an Uber driver and you're dropping people off, if you're a Pizza Hut delivery person or Papa John's or Domino's, you're delivering food. You're going everywhere. Just if you're a delivery person, period, you get out to more places. UPS drivers, FedEx drivers, anybody that's out there on the road, including law enforcement. If you're out there, I need your eyes open. Please look for my son.
So I'm going to ask you kind of a tough question, and again, you don't have to answer because I know this is taking an emotional toll on you, and I know this question is going to be kind of like that. But the reason I'm asking it is I think that one thing that I have to remind people when you're looking at true crime, current events, things like that this is not entertainment. This is somebody's life. This is somebody's family. This is somebody's child. And I sometimes feel that can get lost in the shuffle. So for whatever you're comfortable doing, saying, how have you been coping with the emotional toll of his disappearance? How's it affected your life, your routine? I know you told me a story about your house.
I don't have a life. When my life was a every other weekend or a summer break or a spring break or a fall break, that's when I had life. My life stopped when I dropped my son off at his mother's house. Then I would just work. My life began again when I picked him up on my next following Friday. I worked. Before I went into law enforcement, I was working at Allied. And I told them, listen, every other weekend, I need off. I was like, I will work 12 days in a row, but you have to give me my every other weekend off. Don't call me to work. I'm not gonna do it. I will work all these days so I can have my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with my son. That's it. My life revolved around my son. And since my son has gone missing, my life I don't have one. Because my life is missing. My son is missing. My mom told me I need to clean my house. That'll help me. I can't clean my house. I can't really clean my house. I clean my kitchen. I run my dishwasher. Can't go into my son's room.
So hard.
He's not in there. I don't want to clean up my living room because there's magic cards all over my table. when he comes in, and I want it to still be the same way, like he hasn't left. That way, when he walks into my house, he knows that he's back in his sanctuary. Routine? I don't have a routine. Let's just try to sleep every once in a while. I'll be driving and I just pull over because I get so tired I can't even focus on the road. I just pull over, give me like 30 minutes worth of sleep, and then hit the road again. There is no stop. There is no downtime. There's nothing. There's nothing but the goal of finding Sebastian.
Regarding the search and efforts and ongoing, is there anything else regarding that you'd like to share with the people that are listening, or anything else in general you want to share with the people that are listening?
Not really. I mean, I'm giving this all I got.
I know.
Until there's nothing left to give. And then I'll give some more. I'll find more to give.
So, like I said, as you can see, this man needs help. He needs help. So again, if you are local, I know that there are a lot of local people watching this. I know that this was shared in the groups. I've said this a couple times. Please go out and search, even if you can only do it for an hour, 30 minutes, whatever. If you can't, the Cash App scrolling across the bottom of this, the TMB Fleming, that is Seth's friend who is managing this stuff for him. Because when I tell you all this man does is search for his kid, that is literally all he does. That's all he does. He might get 30 minutes of sleep every now and then. He eats enough to kind of keep going on. So he has people that are helping him with this. And like I said, searching can be expensive. So please do help. And whether you can't help with your eyes, help monetarily, help, sharing. Even if you aren't in the area, like you said, you can go to the TBI's website, download Sebastian's flyer. You can plaster it all over your social media because optics are everything in cases like this. There's a couple questions in the chat that I've gotten a lot that I want to ask. And again, you can answer whatever you don't want to answer. But a lot of questions, and I know that this is going to come up in the coming days because it's already been, so that's why I'm asking it, is in regard to the clothes that he was wearing to Texas Roadhouse. Do you know if police have it? Do you know if they're accounted for? Anything like that, or are you not even allowed to say?
I don't. I have no idea. I mean, we're talking about, I was in that house for on and off for 3 days before it became a hostile situation. But I didn't get to see that video of Texas Roadhouse for over a month before they showed me that video. So I can't even tell you what clothes were there. That would be something that the investigators would have to actually look for.
Okay. I know people asked, and I wanted to make sure that, they heard it from you. So the goal with this is to make sure that we quell rumors around it, because really when you're searching for somebody, you want to make sure that the truth is what's out there and the truth people have, and getting it straight from you, is helpful in that situation. One thing that I want to address, I want to be very cognizant of your time because I know you're mentally and physically exhausted. But this is something that I'm going to say on my own. Because again, I'm on these apps. I see comments that are made. I see what people say about people, and people can be very cruel on the internet. With some of Seth's interviews, people have tried to judge his body language, the way he holds his hands over his head or whatever. I'm telling you, think about how you would feel if you had been on your feet with limited sleep, limited food, an emotional, not even a roller coaster, just an emotional dive. Plus you injure yourself while searching. just kind of think about that before people start giving any accusations about him, because I can tell you, everybody, I have talked to him a good bit, especially in the last few days. A lot of creators that I know who he's talked to, Pascal, others that he's been with, who he's talked to, we can all tell you that this man is incredibly genuine, and the only thing he wants in the world is to find his kid. He has good reason to believe Sebastian is still alive. So the important thing to do is find him, because, in these situations, time is always of the essence. And I feel personally, without you having to say this, is that once, I think I want to word this carefully. Once they scaled back the search, it felt like there was no more search except for what you were doing.
Right. I agree.
Even with the search, when it was heavy, they didn't take, I know that they took your phone and they took Katie's phone for a long period of time. I know Chris got his phone back within a matter of hours. I know that they came in and searched the house for a couple of times. When I say search the house, I mean they came in and looked, but there's not been anything done, from my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, forensically. And I just feel that there's a lot more that could be done. I believe in the power of social media. We've seen what social media can do in a lot of different cases. And I'm probably going to not be people's favorite person when I say this, but get on law enforcement, guys. Call the Sumner County Sheriff. Start asking some of these questions. Ask them why. Because, you could bring luminol in and see if there was, any injuries. You could see possibly, where he went out. You go back to the Idaho, they were able to get
that garage.
a partial footprint based on this. And he had only been in the house, from what we know, one time, maybe a couple. I'm just saying that there's a lot that can be done that I don't think has been done. And this boils down to being more than just theft and a bunch of volunteers looking. You need law enforcement on this. And it's been very frustrating in Tennessee to see how law enforcement has been in some of these cases. And maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe they're not communicating everything, because they do know stuff that we don't know. They know stuff that we don't know. The public's not entitled to everything, but I would hope that as a parent, they would at least bring Seth in on some of that. And you don't have to say anything about it. I'm just saying that. I know that I've had you for about an hour, and I know that you're exhausted. So before we wrap this up and I let you go, is there anything else that you want to talk about or convey to people? Anything else at all?
I appreciate the help, people. I really do. I know Sumner County doesn't like me.
It doesn't matter who they like. It's their oath.
I'm pretty sure the sheriff's office is tired of me. But I don't care.
I don't either.
This is my son. I want to step people's toes. I'm getting to that point where I'm just fed up. I'm fed up with no answer. I'm fed up with I'm law enforcement, but I'm an amateur because I'm not an investigator, and I'm seeing things that should have been done and haven't been done, and it's just it's leading to more answers. I'm sorry, is leading to more questions that don't have answers because things weren't done like that. More questions and more questions. And I haven't shared everything that I know. But the
I know you can't share everything you know. You can't.
Poor guy.
I can't. Because some of that stuff that I know that have been through leads that I've gotten, I want to share. But Sebastian deserves justice.
Yes, he does.
Not vengeance. My son's going to have justice. And we're going to find him alive. Because if you've hurt my son, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to cross you either in that way. There's a couple things that I wanted to make sure that we brought up before we closed out too. One, I'm going to put this here first. So if you want to add, I'm going to stop scrolling for just a moment here on the bottom. But if you want to add to Sebastian's reward fund, what's the reward up to currently, Seth?
Actually,
You know?
don't add anything to it currently, because
You don't add anything to it?
No, I've got some information, and I need to go down there and have a talk with that gentleman.
Okay.
And it's at $500,000
Never mind,
now.
don't do that. Thank you for sharing that. The other thing that I want to make sure that I share with y'all, and I know this has been scrolling at the bottom as well. If you'd like to go, let me see, there we go. If you'd like to go purchase this, you can go to bonfire.com/Sebastian-Rogers. This makes you a walking billboard for him. You can get it all different colors. It's only $35, which I can tell you, it's print on demand. And for print on demand, that is cheap. You can get it in a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a hoodie, women's clothing. There's all sorts of different options that you have, all sorts of different sizes. And
I lost mine.
Does any of this go towards you once you get it, or towards the search?
It was supposed to. I haven't seen anything from it.
Okay. Well, you can get it on your own then, and yeah, it's a walking billboard at least. Yeah,
there's actually on the Facebook page, there's a lady up here in Clarksville. I think she's charging like $25 for a shirt. I can get that information and give it to you.
Yeah, if you get that, I'll happily post that, and you can do that.
I mean, I'd rather it stay in the community, if not in the community, at least in my community. You know, if not Sumner County, then at least in Clarksville, in Montgomery County, because she has a job. And if we can bring income to her job, then it stays instead of sending out to somewhere else. Nothing against the company or whatnot, but really don't know them. Somebody asked me to design it, and they asked me permission. I told them go ahead. And then this lady saw them, and she runs a print shop up here in Clarksville, and she's the one that made this one for me. So
the next thing, and then there's going to be two more things that we close on that I want to talk about regarding something that you told me about Nancy Grace tonight as well that I forgot to say at the beginning, so I want to make people know that you're doing it. But before we do, let me show you this. There's a lot of y'all have been asking about a Cash App, GoFundMe, etc. There is a GoFundMe, and I talked to him about the GoFundMe. And look, GoFundMes take 50%. So then I said, do you have a Cash App? And he doesn't really manage that himself. He'll tell you that. He'll tell you that right now. But his friend is helping him with it. So if you want to Cash App him, there you go. It's been scrolling across the thing the whole time. If you want to take your phone out and snap that or screenshot that so that you can Cash App, Seth, you can tell them that money goes to you. That goes to the search. That goes to help him. So a lot of y'all are asking what you can do financially. So that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So the other things I want to talk about, I'm going to leave this up while we do. At the beginning of this, we talked about the fact that, or I talked about the fact that Chris said, or maybe I forgot to talk about it. Chris said that he was going to take a lie detector test, a polygraph. He had said, if I recall in a previous interview, that he had already taken one. Then when Nancy Grace asked him, he said he hadn't taken one. And Nancy said, if I set one up, will you take one? And he said he would. So Nancy Grace sets up the polygraph. And Chris gives the excuse that he can't take it because of the TBI. Literally have never heard that excuse ever, because it would have nothing to do with that. However, Seth is also taking a polygraph that Nancy Grace is setting up, and you're doing it on Wednesday?
Yeah, she asked me if I would take one because I haven't had one yet. And I told her, sure. and they turned around and called me back earlier today, and they're setting it up for next Wednesday.
So I want to just kind of point that out, that this man has nothing to hide.
No, he was
That's what
willing
I'm
to
saying.
do truth
I
serum.
said, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, he's got nothing to hide.
And if the TBI tells me that I can't take it, they need to put it in writing so I can show it to everybody.
I have a feeling the TBI isn't going to give a shit if you take the polygraph.
I'm pretty sure that they won't. I don't care. I don't have anything to hide. So why would I? Why would I? I don't want to hide behind HIPAA. You know.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But
Somebody just said something, made an offer for you, and I know that you're searching, but I'm going to pin this up, and if you're interested, you can tell me, and I can get you two together. But if you can read what's on the screen, somebody who has a spa in Hendersonville, which I think is very, very generous of you. In fact, I want your information then as well, because if you're willing to do that, I want to support your business. But it might behoove you with what you've done to yourself to maybe take 30 minutes to an hour and take advantage of this. If you want it, I can get with this person, and I can get you with them, and we can get everything set up so you can let me know. But I think that it would be really beneficial for you, because you and I both know, okay, look, we're not young anymore, Seth. We don't heal like we used to heal. And you know that if you keep going the way that you're going, you're going to make it so you can't go at all anymore.
Speak for yourself. I am still young. All right. I put stuff in my goatee to make it look all gray and everything, okay?
Is that what you do? Because I put stuff in mine to get rid of the gray, and I didn't do a good job tonight.
See, I think it's called stress, but it's cool. You know, I find my
stress.
I can get rid of some of that stress. A lot of it when I find him.
Okay, well, then let me put it. Then you will be able to keep going because you heal miraculously, but it will still help your shoulder. Is that better?
That's better.
Before we wrap up, and by the way, for that person, if you want to get a hold of me, shoot me an email. My email, I'll drop it in the chat real quick. It's Justin, Justins, Justins on TikTok @gmail.com. And you shoot me an email if you don't mind, and I will happily put you two together so you can help him, because this man it'll help him greatly. I know that. So before we wrap up, anything else at all that you want to say? This is your opportunity. It's your platform.
Thank everybody for showing up. And I thank all those that will show up. And I just need people to keep your head up and your eyes open. He's out there. We're going to find him. Sebastian's army is going to find him.
yes, we are.
And you're going to see me in a couple days out on another search with you. Maybe tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on information, because I've been informed that if my search groups are out there, to stay away from law enforcement search area, because supposedly they're going to arrest anybody that they catch in those areas searching.
What?
So, I don't know if this is true or fact or hearsay, but I'll find out.
Let us know, and I will make sure to. If that's the case, I will happily blast that information out there. Because why you would stop people from searching? Because I've been out there. Nobody has gone on this search and has been anything but respectful that I've seen of people's property, of people's time. So why they would want to impede searching for a kid?
Makes no sense. Makes
They're-
no sense.
We use the word odd.
That
Yeah.
do what?
Say again, sorry. I think we used the word odd earlier, but sorry, what'd you say? I interrupted you.
When law enforcement is doing a search, they do grid searches and stuff like that. I could see that they don't want any interference from people who are not trained.
Okay.
They don't want anybody stepping on evidence or anything of that sort. So believe me, I try to find out where they're at so that I'm not having any of my volunteers coming across them. So if you are out volunteering and you are handing out flyers and you see them, kindly just turn around and walk the other direction. Because we don't need to be spending money on bail, okay?
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I guess if you are going to search, don't do it. With that being said, don't do that on your own. Just meet at the rudder at 9:30, or, you know, if people were to get there a little bit later, are they still able to search?
Yeah.
If they get there after that 9:30 mark?
Yeah.
So if you can't get there at 9:30, they're doing it between 9:30 and 5. Get there when you can. Again, if you can donate just a couple hours, time is free. So, well, I appreciate you coming on and opening up. I know that these interviews take a lot out of you. So, I mean, I appreciate it. I want to make sure that we get the word out like you do. This is, like I said, this is my community. And the last thing I'm going to say on this is what I'm very frustrated with as far as communication goes, and this has nothing to do with you, is that one of two things is going on here. Either in our community, the community that I live in, where I have a child in this community, either there's a child abductor out there and they have not reassured the community that we're safe, or they don't believe that there's a risk to the entire community and there's a reason for that. Those are the only two options that you have here. But being the fact that I am a member of this community, I live in this county, it would be nice for them to give us an update on what they think on that.
Many have said that.
And that's what I'll say for that.
And that's the end.
So, Seth, I
Almost.
appreciate your time. Try to get some rest. And that when that person messages me, I'll put you in contact with them. And I hope that you take advantage of the massage. And the other thing, which I know I have beaten this horse to death with you, I know that, but I'm going to say it again anyways. Please call Joe Petito.
Will do.
And we saw how that went. Joe got threats.
Okay. Well, have a great night. Thank you for coming on. And you and I will talk soon.
Yes, sir.
And that is full credit to 50 Words for Murder. Fabulous podcast. If you missed the video, the live we did the other day where we did the first half, go back. You learn a lot about Sebastian. And Gypsy had great questions. You know, we know his favorite show, songs, colors, or his favorite songs and colors and things like that, and animals. But we don't know his favorite TV show. We know his favorite game is Minecraft. Okay, so we had a few questions during this that I want to address. We had, first of all, let me get to it. We're going to end with the pictures of KP at the restaurant around April. But what I want to do is, let me get this one off too. Thank you. Hold on. I want to share with you all first the, first of all, what he said really was odd, that if anyone goes and searches in the area they already searched, they'll be arrested. I've never heard that before. I have never heard that before, to arrest someone if they went and searched in the area that had been searched. So I just, that I had never heard. Have you guys heard of that before? Okay. The other thing that I want to share with you was the question about the cadaver dogs. Would they hit on dead mice? Let me pull that up for you all. Okay. Let's make sure you can see it. Okay. So the question was, cadaver dogs were taken apparently to Worshams, and they hit on something, and it was told that they were hitting on dead mice. So we ask, do cadaver dogs hit on dead mice? No. Well, wait, let me enlarge this. No, well-trained cadaver dogs will not hit on dead mice because they are trained to ignore animal remains and only alert to decomposing human scent. While both human and animal decomposition produce similar compounds, a trained cadaver dog can distinguish between the specific chemical signature of human remains, a mixture likely unique to humans, and other scents like those from dead animals. During training, cadaver dogs are taught to disregard the scents of other dead animals or even certain food items. Let me go back in here so I can see it more. The goal, their target odor focus. The goal of their training is to focus exclusively on the specific odor compounds associated with human decomposition. So they wouldn't hit on dead mice at Warsham's if there was a hit there. The scent signature. The chemical compounds released during human decomposition create a unique scent signature that dogs can differentiate from those of dogs. The chemical detection. Dogs detect the specific mixture of chemical compounds released by bacteria during decomposition. Scent discrimination. A properly trained dog can differentiate these chemicals from those produced by decomposing animals, even while searching through areas with various animal scents. When the dog finds the target scent, it alerts its handler. So they alert for the target scent. What was the target scent at Warsham's? Sebastian. They alert their handler by sitting or another trained signal, leading investigators to the human remains. So I hope that answers that question about what you were told at Warsham's. It's disturbing, in my opinion. Okay. And I want to let you all know, yes, I lost my shirt. I'm on the move. I left it in the hotel. But the last time I wore Sebastian's shirt, I was walking through a grocery store and someone stopped me and said, "Have they found him?" And I said, "No." And I said, "Please go learn Sebastian's story, share it with other people. Please, we need to bring him home." And he said, "I absolutely am going to do that as soon as I get home." So the shirts do work. If you're going to the Pig Fest, wear a shirt. I'm going to get another one too. Okay. I'm going to get another one too, and I'll have my shirt on since we can't pass out flyers. Let's see what else I wanted to talk to you about here. The news. Oh, at the end, we're going to end with the pictures of KP out to dinner around Easter as well. But I do want to share with you all a couple of news pressers from the beginning, before the April 2nd one. This is from, let's see here. This one right here is from March 3rd, and it's with Ken Widener, the EMS management person for Sumner County. Hold on. Make sure you have this. You're seeing it. This will, let me see who this is credit to. WKRN News 2. Let's get our banner going for them. I want to watch a couple of these. Oops, sorry, wrong one. My wrist is starting to throb a little bit. Hold on. Sorry, you all. And this is WKRN News 2. And this is going to be from March 3rd. This is the same day they did their first interview, the P-Foots, the stepmom and the stepdad and the mom. And they did it on YouTube. The next day, they did a local interview. Full credit to WKRN News 2.
Morning with the very latest developments. And Jack said, we understand reward money is now on the table.
I will, Nana Rocks. Ice and ibuprofen and
That's
heat.
right, Blake. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells us that a group of local investors invested a minimum of
Me too,
$3,000
Diane.
toward any information that would help investigators in finding Sebastian Rogers. I now want to bring in EMA Director with Sumner County, Ken Widener. Ken, as we near this week-long search effort, where are you
hear it? Give
focusing
me a one.
starting today?
Well, we keep expanding. So we've expanded west and we're expanding north. We just keep expanding the search area and we're bringing different teams in. Yesterday we had a group from East Tennessee come in. They're mountainous experts and they do caves. And so we've had any cave that we've marked, we've had them in those caves. City of Gallatin has done all the storm drains in the area with cameras. So we keep expanding and just throwing everything that we can at it to try to get him located.
In terms of the search, you said you've been expanding. About how much ground have you covered?
We're close to 5 miles now. Now, the further south you go towards Hendersonville, we get into the city, and we would expect he would be located or seen if he were in the city. And we've gone into the city, sort of in the fringe, in the more not as urban areas of Henderson, but we've been all the way to the lake on the streams that travel to the lake. We've been to the lake.
And you have over 300 searchers here.
Well,
Yesterday
we had 330 on the ground, and then we'll run the numbers later today on how many come in today, and we run that as the day goes on.
And 43 years in law enforcement, you told me. What does this experience look like in terms of people coming together to help out in this one mission to find Sebastian Rogers?
Well, one thing about Tennessee and the Southeast is we're always going to have people that want to help, and we get calls from across the state for people that want to come in and help us. And the thing that we've got to do is be able to manage that. So we track everybody that's on the ground. The first 2 days we did 2,000 miles of people walking, and we haven't run those numbers for the entire duration of this operation. But it's great, and to be able to call in specialized groups that do the things that we can't do is really good.
And what keeps you going as you're keeping going after this week?
Thank you so much for the reminder. Let me get the banner up. I put it up there, but didn't. Thank you so much for reminding me. One moment. One moment. I didn't know what you were saying about a banner. I thought you meant a banner for Sebastian. So thank you. Appreciate you having my back.
Just to find Sebastian Rogers. How do you keep going, you and your team?
Oh yeah, just the drive to find him. We'll go talk to the parents in a little while, and every morning we sit and talk to them. We're going to do everything for them and for Sebastian to get him located.
Thank you so much, Ken. If you do have any information.
And that's Ken Wiedner from the Emergency Management System. He's the one who showed all the maps and everything. And I want to show you one more real quick. Oh, where did it go? Hold on one second. Let me show you one more here. It's just good to remember, go back to these. This is also WKRN News 2 from March 4th, the next day. Why isn't it not? It's not clicking. Hold on. Hold on one second. Let me click it. I don't know why it's not clicking. Sorry, y'all. There. Okay. Wow, you can't pull it up. Interesting. It's not letting me pull anything up right now. Let me do a refresh on that. There we go.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Eric Craddock from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Chief Deputy here.
March 4th.
Ken Weiner, the Director of Sumner County EMA. Wanted to come to the public and give you guys an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. We are going to follow up on every lead. We have a planned response if anyone has a sighting of Sebastian. Our patrol deputies will be out. Our investigators will be out. We are still coordinating with law enforcement across the state. We are still consulting with experts. This decision does not come lightly. We have consulted with, and I've deferred to the experts in search and rescue. Every time we've asked, they've said you've done everything you can do. At this time, Director Weiner.
Yeah. So we'll continue to have a command post at the fire station there. We won't man it 24/7, but we will have K9 units in the area. We'll have teams ready to go. The sheriff's office will have deputies on patrol, and if we get any report, we'll respond to that location. We'll send K9 to that location and search teams should we get any information. So we will continue, and any tips we get, we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with.
I'd like to take a moment and thank all the first responders from across the state of Tennessee that have come out and help us in the search for Sebastian. They've come from as far as Knox County. We've called in the state National Guard to help. The Army National Guard was here to help. If there was a resource we thought we could utilize to help locate Sebastian, we've used it. And we will continue to do so based on.
You have not used the U.S.
The
Marshals.
Sheriff's Office continues to urge families to check your properties, to check your cameras. No detail is too small. If you have a detail that you think is important, please call 615-451-3838. Thank you.
Okay, and I want to say something real quick. Notice his difference in his persona, his personality, his eyes, the way he's addressing. And then a month later, we get, and yes, I want to, before I show you that one minute of Barris again, it's just so different. We can take Craddock silences. There is no kidnapper threat to the community. This should get him squirming. And that's what the community has been asking. Do we have an abductor loose? Is there a reason we're not being told whether we're safe here, we're not safe here? And why aren't you telling us that? They want to know. They still want to know. Okay, we are now going to go. It's 1 minute. I want you to see the difference. And this one is full credit to Nick Barris. I hope it's on here. I thought I had it on here. There it is. There it is. Hold on. This is full credit to Nick Barris, and this is less than a month later. This is April 2nd. And let me change the scrolling banner too. Thank you for your patience. I want to give credit where credit's due here. This is a very different look. Okay, so watch this one. This is Nick. Now, from what I've heard, he kind of not grabbed him, kind of caught Craddock off guard for this interview. And Craddock was mad because he had released the lights video. He said he hadn't seen it yet or didn't have it yet, that the person who told me this wasn't sure which. And this was, I'm sorry, April 2nd. They had it day one at the command post, according to my sources. So let's go ahead and look at the difference in Craddock and how he's communicating. The last one, he was very verbal and speaking and lots of information. Watch this. A month later, after the flashlight video was leaked.
Eric Craddock, talking a bit about an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. All right, Nick Barris here, and I'm with Sumner County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Eric Craddock. talking
difference
a
in the
bit
states.
about an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Just, this is the first time we've heard from you in a while, and that's because you guys have been busy investigating.
That's right.
Anything new to report at this stage?
No, sir.
Nothing. 5 weeks.
See how he's not elaborating this time? Just no.
Just ask me, what is being done at this point? What does the public need to know that you continue to do?
We continue to investigate and follow up on every tip or lead that comes in.
Any evidence of foul play?
There was no evidence to support foul play.
But you can't rule it out necessarily. You're ruling nothing out at this point.
That's right. I'm ruling nothing out.
And as far as the public, what you could ask them to continue to do?
Remain vigilant. If they see something, say something. Call 1-800-TBI-FINE or 615-451-3838 with any tips or leads.
Okay. We'll have much more on this story to come.
Yeah, that I think is a very telling interview, in my opinion. I think that is very telling. Okay. He's got a totally different attitude about himself. Maybe he's tired, maybe he's mad, maybe he's scared. I don't know. Concerned. Who knows? He knows nothing, he says. So, and that is after the flashlights video had been released. Let me see. There's one other thing I wanted to talk to you all about real quick. I want to show you that picture. Get your shirts if you're going to Pig Fest. Oh, and tomorrow, little Evelyn Boswell from Tennessee, who was unalived by her mother, Megan, who is convicted, who also misled police on a wild goose chase and was arrested for misleading police before she was charged with emming her daughter. She was convicted, I believe, in February. Her sentencing is tomorrow. His sentencing is tomorrow. Hi, Shadows in the Dark. So her sentencing is tomorrow, and I'm going to be live streaming it. It will start at 1 p.m. on my channel Eastern time. We'll take about 30 minutes to remind ourselves of the case, and then the streaming will start, and we will watch Megan Boswell be sentenced finally for the death of her daughter, Evelyn Boswell, also in Tennessee, Sullivan County. So tomorrow is that sentencing. Join me tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we will watch it together as a family. Okay, you'd go tomorrow if you weren't traveling. Oh, Kiki, that's right. That would be another good one to go to. Hi, Nathan. Yeah, Nathan says Proudfoot as Sumner County Sheriff's Office equals the mafia, in his opinion. Thank you, Minnie. Okay, I am going to share with you the photos that were shared with me of KP out around Easter in local Mexican restaurant. There she is. Okay. There she is. You can clearly tell that's CP. And there she is. You can see it's a Mexican restaurant because it says Cochina, however I say that. You know, it's sad because, we see shots of her everywhere. Disney World, or we didn't see shots at Disney World. We heard about it, and restaurants, and everyone asked to eat, of course. But you know what? Not when we don't see searching, hanging flyers, national interviews. When we don't see you standing next to Seth asking for answers. Okay. Sissy, love your comment. Love your comment. So that really is the end of our show, my friends. And I want to thank you for being here and being here for Sebastian. At Night says that the Calvary is getting larger. They're bringing on more people. The FBI posted today, and we'll wait to hear who. We'll wait to hear who is going to be joining in the search for Sebastian. But it's such great news that the FBI posted about Sebastian today. Let me go see. I can't remember. I know that the person who sent this indicated she was with her friend Laura, Laura's friend E, or son E, who has, I believe, cerebral palsy. Okay. And I'm not sure if CP was there. Kiki, do you want me to check it before I get off of here and share it with everyone, or you want me to check it when I get off and read it? Thank you, JH. It's always good to see you. JH said, mahalo for all you do. Thank you so much. Okay, well, Kiki, let me know. Is it something? Let me go check real quick. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just going to check real quick and see if it's something one that's to share. Okay, I can share this one too. And there she is again right here. Let me enlarge it for you. There she is. Oh, whoa, how'd you like that? There's those black shoes with the white soles again. Just saying. That's what she had on in Texas Roadhouse, and so did Sebastian. There she is out. And, you know, she's like, well, we have to eat. But when you see things on CP's Facebook that says something, I'm paraphrasing, I'm innocent, we have nothing to do with it, I'm paraphrasing, and then he has a picture of a big meal sitting on the table and says, eat your heart out, that there's no excuse for that. He doesn't even know Sebastian's eating. No excuse for the games, the jokes, and the BS from him, in my opinion. So it's just, so they have to eat, but that doesn't mean they can't search. Do you remember At Night put out a couple of days ago in One World a message saying, if someone told you you couldn't search for your child, would that stop you? Absolutely not. But I do find it interesting that they said, if anyone goes in the area we search, we'll arrest them. That's really interesting in my opinion. But you can eat out, that's fine. But CP had said in April of 2024, they weren't searching. One of the panels I heard him say they weren't searching because law enforcement wanted them to be available if they called them. Well, you have a cell phone in your pocket, and just like they can call you at Disney World and the Mexican restaurants and eating ice cream, they can call you while your feet are on the ground looking for Sebastian. So don't give me that. Wow. Okay. Another good show, and I want to thank all of you mods. You're a dream. You really run a beautiful chat. You make everyone feel welcome. You keep a sense in that chat of what we do and do not tolerate, and I appreciate it. You know, you guys keep it going so nicely. Hola, Katie, LOL. Right, Minnie? Right, Minnie? Oh, Nathan, I agree. Yeah. Either or, right? One or the other. So I want to thank you so much for being here. Get your shirts. I'm going to get another one. I'm going to reach out to and see. I love my bonfire shirt, but I'm also going to see if there's some other ways for us to get shirts, and I will let you know of a reasonable way for us to get shirts. We've now learned that cadaver dogs not hit on dead mice. So that would not be what cadaver dogs were hitting on at Warsham's. Yes, I am going to go do ibuprofen and ice. My wrist is swelling right now. And for those of you who don't know, I was pulling my kayak out of the lake and stumbled and kind of fell on my wrist, and fell on my left wrist, my pinky and my finger a little swollen, but my right arm's pretty cut up too. So, but I'm just glad I'm okay and didn't hurt more. Thank you all for being here. We've learned a lot. We heard a lot from Seth, a local podcaster, 50 Words for Murder. He said that he wants to know, he's got a kid in the community. Are we safe? Is there an abductor out there? Is there a reason we shouldn't believe we're at risk? Or you're not telling us we're at risk? And if you're not telling us we're at risk or we're safe, what are the reasons for not telling? And Jenny, post your GoFundMe one more time, my friend, real quick before we check off. Jenny lost her father. And don't feel obligated in any way, but if you would like to help Jenny with expenses for her father, and I'm so sorry for your loss, Jenny. That's why when you came in and said you were talking to your mom, it's like, please talk to your mom. Okay. If you would like to, if you would like to, please go ahead and you're welcome to help Jenny out. She does a lot for our channel. She's here. She does a lot for Sebastian. And thank you. Jenny says, thank you to those who already helped. One thing I love about this community is the way you lift each other up. Yes, IML at night's on it. Okay. Let me finish real quick. I want to remind you guys. Yeah, they're calling out Gilly. And they will look at their satellite imagery another night because it is getting late and we've got to get up for Evelyn, for justice for Evelyn. But what was I going to share with you all? Oh, where they said other people are, okay. Sebastian, your Calvary has just expanded threefold. We're currently in discussions to engage additional organizations for support. That is wonderful. And I can't wait for us to learn who that is, who's coming on board to help locate this young man, help the father find his son. And as Seth said, we're not done making memories. They still have memories to make. So bless the people who are, oh, you all didn't get to see it because I didn't share it with you. Sorry. Bless the people who are going to jump in and help and join, stand beside with Seth at night, One World, Dog, everything, and help bring Sebastian home. Every missing child deserves not to be silenced, banned, or failed. And we will end it there tonight, Sebastian's Army. Thank you for absolutely everything. And until next time, tomorrow morning for Evelyn Boswell, her mom's being sentenced, has already been convicted. I will see you there. And until then, stay safe and keep keeping on. Sweet dreams, my friends. And yes, Nicey Marie, tick tock. The clock is ticking and things are going to be cracked wide open, in my opinion. Thank you for all. Diane, thank you for hanging up flyers. I know you're doing your best to get them there, get them up and have them stay up. And thank you for everything, Sebastian's Army. Stay strong.